Hey, friend, welcome back to another episode of Ash to Dusk. I cannot believe we're just a few days away from Christmas, and I have to tell you something. I am still not done with my Christmas shopping. I have hardly started. I'm just going to be real. And I don't know why I do this to myself every single year. I probably know why, but I do this to myself every year. This year, I think it's the worst just because my kids don't know what they want. And I honestly don't know what to get for my kids because they do have a lot. They do. And I know that that's so privileged to say that and grateful in some ways and not in others. I mean, it's honestly a little bit annoying to me in some ways, but it is a privilege and I recognize that. And I don't want to sound vain or just insensitive when I say that, like, I'm annoyed that I don't know what to get for my kids because they do have everything. But I can remember 9 years ago sitting in my house and staring at some pretty blank walls, thinking, how am I going to buy my kids presents this year? That was a very real feeling for me because I was going through divorce. I couldn't even put food on the table, pay my bills. I was struggling. And I remember feeling like just such a failure and overwhelmed by the fact of I can't I can't put I can't give my kids gifts like I want to. And now I feel like we've went to this opposite end of the spectrum, not because I buy them everything, because I'm going to be honest, like I don't. They save their money and they buy the things I shared with you. Like Jackson saved up money and bought himself a PC the other day. It's just that they have been so fortunate to have people who do buy for them and that they are able to buy for themselves, that we're in a completely opposite situation where I'm like, I don't know what to get them. And so anyways, definitely feeling overwhelmed and just so frustrated that it's already just a few days before and I don't have all the presents and haven't even started wrapping. So there's that. But I want to check in on you because I know that speaking of overwhelm, like this time of year gets really overwhelming for some of us. Um, there's like this invisible load of things that are happening that people maybe don't recognize. They think everything's great from the outside looking in, but really you're struggling with finances. You're struggling with missing a loved one that won't be here this holiday season. And you don't know how you're going to get through the holidays because of the pain of them not being here. It could be this sense of overwhelm because you have to go to an in-laws or to a family members that you don't want to go to. It doesn't feel right because you there isn't a connection with them, but we show up because it's the holidays. And I recognize that that can be overwhelming because your partner may want to go and you don't want to. Or maybe it's that you want to go to your families, but your spouse is like, I don't want to go there. And then it becomes friction. And all those things happen behind closed doors that many people don't see. But what I can promise you is that there are many of us, you, in the same situation. And I don't want you to feel alone in that. There could be just overwhelmed with the sense of there's just so much to do. And I know I have some school nutrition friends who are in the middle of their audit year and they have the state auditors coming like right after the Christmas break. And so they don't feel like they can have a Christmas break because they're just trying to get everything ready. For you, it could be work right now, like trying to make a sales goal or a deadline, or you're going to have your kids at home for the next couple of weeks and you don't know what you're going to do with them for childcare, and you're going to just hope and pray that no one burns the house down. That's a very real thing, too. And speaking of that, I have to share this story with you. It's so random, I know. But I, my kids had a snow day, and this wasn't this year. This was, I think it was last year, but my kids had a snow day. And I'm like, guys, I got to go into the school district. Um, and I'll be back. Everything's gonna be fine. Call me if you need me. And I was in the district, but I was also on a Zoom call with another school district. And I'm in this meeting And next thing you know, I can hear my phone going and I'm like, gosh, I probably should just look. And I never do this in a meeting. And I look down and I see like my phone blowing up and Dawson's like, you got to call right away. And no, it wasn't Dawson. It was Jackson. It was like, you got to call right away. And I had those Easy Mac cups in the cupboard. And I told the boys, I was like, listen, don't turn the stove on. There's Uncrustables. You can make a ham and cheese sandwich. There's the mac and cheese bowls. And I actually had those because um, Jackson is too old to go to summer camp. That's what it is. And so when he was staying at home, it was like, hey, here's something easy to do. And I didn't want him messing with the oven. Okay. So, but I never taught the other boys how to use the Easy Mac bowls, but that you need to put water in it because again, we just don't normally buy them. And Dawson is so efficient and wanting to do things on his own. He didn't go ask his brother to make him macaroni and cheese. He went, he saw it in the cupboard and was like, oh, this looks great. And he put it in the microwave and started to heat it up without water. So needless to say, there was like a small fire in the microwave that went out, but then there was all this smoke in the house. It was so bad, you guys. So I go home or I come home and the house, they had all the windows open, smoke everywhere. It smelled like chemicals so bad that even after cleaning my microwave and putting water in there and turning it on and it's just, I had to throw the microwave away because it was so bad. Now, I got off tangent here, but I wanted to share that story with you because I also know that feeling of just like angst about like, I don't know what to do with childcare. You either don't have help or it costs so much money to send them somewhere, or you just need them to be at home for a short period of time for something. I know what that feeling is like. And I also know what the feeling is like to think that your house might be burning down because your 9-year-old decided that he was going to put Easy Mac in the microwave and not put water in it. Um, so yeah, it's just such a real thing this time of year. Everything's so hustle and bustle and it's busy. Mike and I actually tried to go shopping the other night. Like we were like, okay, Mike actually said to me, we need to go. And I was like, you're right, we need to go. And I need you to come with me because, again, this is just really overwhelming. And we thought, you know what, let's go to dinner first. The boys went with their dad for a couple of hours. We rarely get time together, which is something that I want to make a better effort into the new year. And I was like, well, let's just grab dinner first and then we'll go shopping. And so we get to Carrabba's and I shut off the car and we go, like I'm getting ready to close the door. I drove us there. And right before I close the door, my car is like yelling at me. It's like beeping. And I look at the dashboard and it says remote not detected. Okay. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I started my car at home and I did get in the car to start it because I wanted to turn the heat on. But by creature of habit, I took the keys and I hung them back on the hook in the garage. So we had to drive all the way back home, get the keys, then go back to Carrabba's. And I was just so grateful. I'm like, you know what? At least I didn't close the door because my car, it lets you like turn it back on after giving that warning. So I was so grateful. We had dinner. We go to Dick's Sporting Goods to try to find a couple of things there. And then we went to go into the mall, which is attached to Dick's. And we look at each other and we're like, there's like no one here. There's no one in the mall. And then we looked closer and everything was shut. And the sales rep in Dick's was like right by the doorway. And he was like, yeah, the mall closes at 8. And we're like, at 8? Since when? The mall used to close on a normal basis at 9. We're just a week before Christmas and it closes at 8 on a weekday. And he was like, yeah, since COVID. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So needless to say, I did try to go Christmas shopping. It just didn't work because, well, the stores weren't open. And I'm really bad at buying gifts online just because half the time I feel like I don't get the thing that I actually ordered. So it has just felt like a lot lately. And I know that you're probably feeling the same way. And I also think that like, aside from the invisible load of things that we're carrying that people don't see, we also get very overstimulated. There's so much coming at us. And right now, it just feels like even on social media, in the news, it's constantly something. And it's always so either like terrifying or it provokes you to feel so angry. You see other people living a life that you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? You're overstimulated because your kids think that you should just do everything for them, and you do. You're overstimulated because everything keeps coming at you, and you haven't quite figured out how to shield yourself from the outer expectations of everyone else. And it is okay to reclaim that. It's okay to say, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm putting my phone away at night for a couple of hours so that my brain is not so overstimulated with everything coming at me. I'm going to shut the TV off. I'm not going to start my day with the phone. I'm going to start having my kids help around the house. And you and I've talked about this before, but I cannot stress to you enough how important it is not only for your kiddos to build the confidence in themselves and to feel a sense of purpose and belonging and accomplishment, but also for you, my friend. You deserve to have some help around the house. Yes, they are children, but they are growing into their own person. They are becoming just like you and I. We are always evolving into our next best version of us. And they have the ability and the capacity. We just need to let them help us. It's not going to be perfect, but we got to let them help. And you've just got to set these boundaries. You've got to speak up for yourself. Okay. When you don't want to go to your in laws, you don't want to go to a family member's during the holidays, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Yeah. What's the worst thing that could happen? Someone gets upset with you and it will eventually blow over. And if not, then there's a deeper conversation that actually needs to take place. Um, but yeah, you don't owe that to anyone. Yeah, I think it's important to go see family. I love my family. I love family time. But are there times where I have to say, I can't do that? For sure. And the ones who love you and respect you enough will completely understand that. And for those who don't, they're not your people. Even if they are your blood family, they're not your people. And that's okay too. Okay, so thinking about being overstimulated, right? When that happens, we start to get anxious. A lot of anxiety comes around when we're feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated. And the anxiety is not necessarily out of fear of something happening, although a lot of times anxiousness comes from what we are anticipating is going to happen, what we're worrying about. But I think that anxiety around the fact of like how am I going to just do all of it, and your nervous system is telling you help, like there's too much coming at me and I need you to stop. Like stop with the input. So I want you to remember, you go to my reset guide that I've shared with you through the email. If you're not signed up for the email, go to ashleymarina.com, sign up. I will send you my 5-minute reset and start breathing and start writing things down. What's really important for today, right now, not tomorrow, not next year. What do you absolutely need to accomplish today? And work off of that list only. And eventually you're going to get to a place where you can look a couple of days out, a week ahead, a month ahead. But when we're feeling super overwhelmed, we cannot try to solve all the problems at once. And if you're like me, I have struggled with this. When there's a problem, I want to fix it. And when I start getting anxious about something, I feel like the only thing I can do is control, like, okay, I could just do all these things now. And I'm like avoiding what I don't want to face, except that now I'm just creating more anxiety. So sit with yourself for a minute. The whole point of Ash to Dusk, which is the beginning, the end. So think of the beginning of our day, the end of our day, the beginning of life, the end of life, everything in between, the messy middle. You have to force yourself to sit down and plan. You have to force yourself to sit down and to check in with how you're feeling. The only way you're going to do that is by making time to do it. And I know it's so easy to say, I don't have time, but when you make time for it, everything else will fall into place. And I do believe, like people would say this about going to the gym, you make what's important a priority. And if someone were to look at like your checkbook for a whole week, well, no one writes in a checkbook anymore, but if you were to look at like your bank statement and see what you have going on for a week and you saw where all your money was being spent, you looked at your calendar, it's going to tell you what's important to you. Now, I think that there's also this other side of it where it's like, yeah, well, sometimes that's just not reality. But no, like, let's just be super real. No, you don't have to go to the gym to work out, but you do have to work out if you want to be healthy, which means you could do it from your home, but you have to make time for it. It has to go in your calendar, which we've talked about so many times. You can use a Google Calendar, you can write it down in a pretty calendar. But the whole point of Ash to Dusk is that we find a cozy corner in our home, or we turn the heat on in our car if we have a car, or we find a closet if your closet's big enough, and we just find a spot where there can be no interruptions, where our family knows, oh my gosh, mom's in the closet. That means we don't interrupt her. But we find a comfy, cozy corner or a space in our home and we dedicate, let's just say it's even 15 minutes to what do I need to do today to get this done? What do I need to then do tomorrow? But really to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? Breathing and reminding yourself that it may not necessarily be code red. It's just that we are feeling anxious, we're feeling overwhelmed, we have this load of things on our plate that no one can see. And so next thing you know, we're just in this reactive mode instead of being responsive to things. So you've got this, my friend, you've got this, but it's a choice to be overwhelmed. It is a choice. And I know that that's controversial. I know and I understand that life happens to us, right? But I choose to look at it as life happens for us. And when those random things come at us and it feels really, really hard, or it's like one of those days where it's like when it rains, it pours. It just seems like when one thing goes wrong, there's a million things that go wrong. I have to flip that on its head and say, how is this working for me today? I have to flip it on its head and say, where can I learn and grow through this? I've just had this conversation with my son and we were talking about, you know, when you come home, I want you to say, hey, mom, how was your day? I want you to get out of your comfort zone of just coming home and going straight to your video games. I want you to come home. I want you to anticipate, you know what? My mom could use help in this. I know that my laundry needs done. I see some dishes in the sink. I want you to anticipate and to, take accountability and to help. I said, buddy, you are staying in your comfort zone and you will never grow from that. If you stay comfortable, you will never grow. And that's going to be a thing because all of your friends are going to grow up. They're going to want to go do things. But here you are comfortable in your mama's house playing video games. And I'm like, you grow outside your comfort zone, but you have to force the inner self, that inner dialogue that tells you not to do it, or, oh, it's just so much easier to just sit here and to not help. You have to fight that. That is building your character. That is where you grow. That's how you get rid of the overwhelm because you face it head on. You don't just go hide anymore. And we're not going to just come home from work and binge watch TV all night because we don't have the mental capacity to deal with anything else. No, we need to deal with it head on. And you can do this, my friend. You can do it. It's just, it does take practice. And I have to fight it too some days. I have this, I feel like I can see the cycle, and this happens to me, not as often, but it does happen still, where it's like I go, go, go. I tackle all these big, audacious goals and dreams, and I'm just so excited. And I'll stay up really late at night working. I get up early. And then there comes a moment where I feel so overwhelmed by all the things I have going on that I created myself, the pressure I did to myself, right? And then I just need to like lay down for like a whole day or two and just recover and do nothing but watch just mindless TV and just be super lazy. Okay, when those moments happen, it's okay. Like it is okay to like have a moment, but only let it be a moment. Don't let this be something that you do every single day. Okay. All right. So I know that this was a conversation that has been more of like a ramble today. And I just was like, gosh, I know I have felt, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but I have felt a little bit of pressure lately, especially because of the Christmas presents. And I thought, you know what? I know you've got to be feeling this way too. And it might just be something different in your life. Like I said, whether if it's finances, you just are so dreading the fact that you're missing someone in your life right now. I just, I know, I feel that for you. And I want you to know that you're not alone and that we're in this together. Now, if you celebrate Christmas, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. That is what we celebrate here in our home. And we are really excited for this time of year. I know that, like I said, I've been overwhelmed by what the holidays can bring, which is not always joy. But we have to choose it and we have to find it no matter where we're at in the part of the world that you're in. We have to find and choose joy. And let me tell you, every day that we get to wake up and breathe in the fresh air and we get to look around and see the beautiful life outside of our home, that is another day to start over again. It is another opportunity. Who you were yesterday does not have to define who you are going forward. Okay? That was just a version of you that was, but it doesn't need to continue to be. All you have to do is be better than who you were yesterday. You have to give yourself some grace, some love, and compassion. But how we talk to ourselves matters. And if we say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, your body is going to feel that, okay? Your body will feel the overwhelm and the angst. But if we say, okay, I have a to-do list, I have a lot on my plate. What do I need to do to tackle this? Your mindset will automatically shift and you will get more accomplished than by saying, I'm overwhelmed. So I want you to practice. When somebody asks you how you're doing, I don't want you to lie about it. Like, don't just say, I'm fine. Like, you could be honest. It's a busy season right now, there's a lot going on, but I'm doing well, all things considered. Like, it's how we frame what we say really matters how we show up in the day. So, don't let the holidays overwhelm you. Instead, choose to look at it as a, a moment in time where we get to self reflect on how the year went and where we want to go moving forward. And all of these things that you're feeling overwhelmed about, I want you to write them down. All right. Take everything you're feeling overwhelmed about, write them down. And then I want you to decide, do I actually have to do anything that's on this list? Or is it on this list because you've decided that you needed to do something or someone is asking you to do something? Okay. So that's the first thing we need to do. Write everything down. And then the second thing, after deciding if you actually need to do it or not, then you need to prioritize what needs to be done today. Make it a priority one. Okay, great. It needs to be done within the next 2 to 5 days. Make it a priority two. And if it's something that can wait, make it a priority three. And that's how we approach tackling the overwhelm and the to-do list. And stop adding to your list. Stop doing it to yourself. I'm really good at doing this. So I'm talking to myself right now too. Stop adding to your to-do list. Let yourself just rest for a moment. It's okay to rest. I know if you grew up with chaos, you're probably still fighting that habit that we developed from a young age. Chaos doesn't have to be a part of your story. It's a choice. Remember, feeling overwhelmed and feeling anxious can come from not planning. It could come from not saying no when we need to say no. It could come from not asking for help, not having your kids help you, not asking your spouse or your partner to help you with something. Remember, my friend, especially if you're a woman listening to this, our partners, our husbands, our kiddos, they are not mind readers. And I know sometimes we just want someone to anticipate and to know something needs done. And I realized that with my son. I was like, man, I'm sitting here wanting him to do something, but I actually just need to say, hey, buddy, listen, when you come home, I want you to anticipate what needs done. I want you to kind of look around and be observant. I want you to ask me how my day was. I want you to take the dog out or whatever it is. And I realized I just need to actually say my expectation. And I want you to practice doing that because it is uncomfortable. But the more we do it, I think it'll be better for everyone involved. I want you to have a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. I will have a midweek moment this week, which will be on Christmas Eve, and I will have an episode Sunday after Christmas as well. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, if you stuck around with me this long, thank you so much. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. This is a great way to help other people who need to hear this and have a community that we're in. It helps it reach those people. So thank you so much for doing that. And don't forget, I have the 5-minute reset on my website, ashleymarina.com, that you can go claim by just giving me your email. And what that means is every Sunday, I write a letter to you. It's curated just for you. And I talk about things that happened in my week and things that I'm loving and maybe a few things that might be helpful to you. So, all right, my friend, thanks for hanging out. I will see you same time, same place. But until then, keep your light burning from ash to dusk.